Hi everyone, welcome to today's Happy Healthy Hips yoga class. This is an all-rounder class with particular focus on the lower body, ensuring that there is fluidity and mobility to really enable us to do the activities that we love with ease and enjoyment. So when you're ready, find a comfortable seated position. Perhaps crossing your legs. Allow yourself to settle into the posture, unclenching the jaw, softening the muscles of the face, relaxing the eyes, unfurling the eyebrows, maybe closing the eyes. Tuning into the body, recognizing where you are in this moment. On your next inhale, we'll extend our arms overhead, joining our palms together. Exhale, begin to lower the hands to heart center. From here, we'll take 3 cleansing breaths to commence practice. Slow, gradual inhalations through the nostrils and exhaling through the mouth. From a seated position, we'll begin to warm up the sides of the neck. Maybe walking the right fingertips over to the side. Inhale, extend the left arm overhead and gently place the outer edge of the left palm on the right side of your face, flexing at the elbow and guiding the head towards the left. Finding a deep stretch along the right side of the neck, perhaps down to the shoulder. Softening the jaw. One more breath. Gently release the left arm. Maybe roll the shoulders back once. And we'll take this posture on the other side. Gently guiding your right palm to the outer edge of your face, the left side. Maybe around the ear. Finding any modifications that facilitate a greater stage of relaxation. One more breath. Gently releasing the arm, roll the shoulders back. From here, we'll walk our left fingertips over to the side, lowering onto the forearm, extending the right arm overhead, finding a side body stretch, warming up the obliques, the core. Being mindful to keep the shoulder space open, expanding across the heart, the ribs. Exhale back to center, and we'll go on the other side, walking the right fingertips out. Lower the right forearm down, extend the left arm, feeling a stretch perhaps from the left fingertips down to the left hip. Feel yourself releasing into the posture, letting go of any tension. Exhale back to center. We'll take this movement again, this time making it a little more dynamic, flowing forward in a half circular motion and back the other way. You might like to create a bit of a back bend, broadening across the heart space, gazing up towards the sky. Mindfully being aware of each movement and being mindful of the integrative systems that function seamlessly so that we can go about our movements, our thoughts, and our day with complete ease and relaxation. Once more, either side, working our way upright to a seated position. And from here, we will extend our left leg out on an angle, coming into Paribrita Janus Revolved head to knee pose. We'll lower our left arm on the inside of that left leg, extending the right arm overhead, again finding a side body stretch. Keeping that left foot flexed, toes and kneecap facing towards the sky. Perhaps you can reach your right fingertips towards your toes, or maybe you stay upright in this posture the whole time. It's entirely up to you. You might like to stay down and hold and place the sternum, the midpoint of your chest, over the top of the thigh, allowing the forearms to rest on the floor. One more breath in this posture, mindfully letting go. And when you're ready, we'll place our right palm behind our hip, raising both hips, extending the left arm overhead. Exhale, coming back into this fold. Finding this fluid motion, raising the hips up, lifting up. Sort of a variation of a supported baby side plank. Adding a back bend, broadening across the heart space, allowing yourself to release any unwanted emotions. Flowing with the breath. Remembering that this is your practice, you can slow down or speed up the movements as much as you like. And if something's not working for you today, you are more than welcome to make it your own and change the asana altogether. We'll stay down in the revolved head to knee pose, maybe interlacing your fingers behind your foot, lowering the knee to the nose, letting go, relaxing the belly, softening the back of the neck. Using your fingertips for support, we'll begin to work our way upright to a seated position, crossing the left leg in as we extend the right leg out on an angle, coming into revolved head to knee pose on the other side, extending the arms out wide, and from here maybe finding the side body stretch if that's in your practice. Inhale, lowering the right arm on the inner side of that right leg, extending the left arm overhead. Exhale back to center. Keeping a slight activation of the lower abdomen, drawing the navel towards the spine so that we're protecting our back. Either staying in an upright position, or you might like to come to a side bend, or perhaps rotating the chest, the sternum, so it's resting on the midpoint of the right thigh. Resting the forearms on either side of the leg, perhaps offering the palms to the sky, receiving energy. With every exhalation, feeling yourself become lighter, more at ease. Finding a deep release along the back of that right leg, the calf muscle, the hamstrings, the QL region of the left side body. One more breath. From here, coming up to a seated position, placing the left palm behind the hip, extending the right arm overhead, raising the hips, pushing the pelvis forward, and lowering down. Once more, lifting the pelvis, finding a heart opener, lowering down to frame that right leg. Working on stretching the obliques here. Strengthening the glutes, the core. A few more. Really using that left hand, the palm, the fingertips for support to help you lift up and out of the pelvis. Remembering to breathe. Once more. From here, we'll stay down in that low revolved head to knee pose. Forearms are on either side of that right leg. You might like to place the palms facing up, or if you'd like a more grounded variation, place the palms down towards the earth. Allow the belly, the chest, the forehead to melt over that leg, Maybe interlacing your fingers behind the right foot. If you'd like to take this stretch a little deeper, you might like to grab a hold of one wrist with one hand around that right foot, while being mindful to keep both hips and sits bones grounded to the surface beneath you. 3 more slow, intentional breaths in this posture. With the support of your fingers, beginning to work your way up to a seated position, maybe rolling the shoulders back once or twice. We'll transition to face the short edge of our mat, coming into a Vajrasana, diamond pose. Sits bones are resting on the heels, big toes are touching. You might like to rest the palms in the lap. Allow the shoulders to roll back and down away from the ears, affording yourself a moment to re-equilibrate with the breath. Perhaps noticing the soft rise and fall of the belly. On your next inhale, we'll extend our arms overhead, joining the palms together. And from here, we'll come into Garudasana, eagle arms, placing the right arm over the left, maybe finding a double bind, joining both palms together, and really working on shoulder protraction here. We're drawing the scapula away from one another, finding a release along the back, a slight tuck of the chin, checking in with your foundation. Is your core engaged? Could you draw the navel to the spine a little more? One more breath. Float the arms up and release them by your sides. Roll the shoulders back once. And we'll take eagle arms on the other side. Inhale, extend the arms overhead. This time crossing the left arm on top of the right. Maybe finding a double bind, joining your palms together. And again, working on lifting those elbows up towards the midline, whilst pulling the palms gently away from your face. Feeling that stretch along the back body. And adding any adjustments that work with your body today. You might like to play around with moving the arms to the right, to the left slightly. See what feels interesting. And gently release, joining the palms together at heart center. From here, we'll transition onto hands and knees, joining the big toes together, widening the knees towards the edge of the mat. As we walk our fingertips out in front, sinking our hips back towards our heels. Maybe lowering the forehead, the chest, the belly onto the mat, coming into child's pose, Balasana. Re-establishing your connection to this moment, to Mother Earth. There is so much to be grateful for. Allow yourself to revel in the bliss that is life. With your next inhale, feel yourself inspiring nourishment, strength, prosperity. And when you're ready, we'll tuck our toes under, walk our fingertips out in front, raise the hips as we come into Mukeshvanasana, downward facing dog. Taking any adjustments, maybe pedaling out the legs once or twice. You might like to bend the knees considerably, or work on drawing the heels towards the earth beneath you, stretching the back of the legs. Engaging the core. Arms are activated. Facial muscles are soft. 3 breaths here. When you're ready, take as many steps as you like, walking your feet towards the top of the mat to meet your hands, and we'll come into a forward fold. Maybe you'd like to join us in ragdoll, interlacing your hands around opposite elbow, opposite arm, bending the knees considerably, sinking back into the heels and allowing the chest to rest on the thighs. You might like to sway the body side to side, tuning into what feels right for you in this moment. Either staying here, or you might like to place your palms on the floor as we come into a forward fold side stretch, rotating the chest to the left as we extend our left fingertips towards the sky, bending into that right knee, straightening the left leg. This is a great way to stretch into the IT band, the outer glutes. Exhale, lower the left palm down underneath the left shoulder. Inhale, extend the right arm overhead, twisting towards the right, perhaps gazing up towards the right fingertips. Flexing the opposite knee. Exhale, lower the right arm down, and again, going on the other side. This is a great dynamic series to incorporate at any stage throughout your day, particularly in the morning after waking up, after large portions of sedentary activity, really helping to invite some nourishing movement, pranic life force into the hips while stretching out the legs and twisting the spine, flowing at your own rhythm. A few more times either side. Letting go. Feeling yourself becoming lighter. Tuning into the present moment. And when you're ready, we'll come into a forward fold, this time crossing our right leg over our left, walking our fingertips towards the right, slightly bending that front knee, extending the back leg, feeling a stretch along the hips, the IT band, walking your way back to center, and we'll walk our fingertips around to the left. It's okay if the hips move slightly, just be mindful of your movements. Uncrossing the legs, and this time we'll place our left foot over top of our right, walking the fingertips around to the left, keeping a slight bend in the left leg while the right leg remains extended. One breath here. Walking our fingertips back through center and around to the right. If anything feels particularly interesting, you might like to pause the video and hang out here for a little bit longer. Otherwise, when you're ready, we'll come into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, maybe placing your fingertips on the shins. Exhale, fold, bending the knees. Inhale, halfway lift, finding length. Exhale, fold. Once more, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And grounding down through the heels, we'll begin to slowly roll our way up to a standing position, one vertebra at a time, head coming up last. Extending the arms overhead, finding length, and lowering the hands to heart center. Inhale, extend the arms overhead, spread them wide like bird wings as we come into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant the palms down, step back with the right leg, coming into a supported crescent lunge on the left. Maybe lowering that right knee down. You might like to keep the toes tucked to protect that right knee, or point the toes to the back of the mat. Hips are squared to the front of the mat. You might begin to feel a gentle or a deep stretch along the right psoas, the hip flexors. either keeping the palms in contact with the surface beneath you or extending your arms overhead, joining the palms together. Really working on lifting up and out of the pelvic bowl here, squeezing the inner thighs together. Being mindful to keep that left knee, the front knee, in line with the ankle. You might like to create a slight back bend here through the thoracic and upper region of the back, broadening across the chest, gazing up. One more breath. Float the arms down, frame the front foot, tuck the right toes under, step the right foot up to meet the left, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, this time stepping back with the left leg. Gently lowering that left knee to the ground, tenting up onto the fingertips. Take a moment to find any adjustments, maybe moving the hips around, rocking back and forth slightly. And if you'd like to untuck the toes, point the toes towards the surface behind you. 2 breaths here. And either staying in this supported variation or we'll extend our arms overhead, joining the palms together. Engaging that core, drawing the navel towards the spine. Scissoring those inner thighs. This is a mindful stretch. Feel yourself growing taller through the crown of the head. Breathing into any regions of the body where you begin to feel tension. Framing the front foot with your palms, tuck the left toes under, step the left foot up to meet the right, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, finding length, extending the legs. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Once more, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Rolling up to Tadasana, 1 vertebra at a time. Inhale, extend the arms overhead. Exhale, lowering them to heart center. Inhale, extend the arms overhead. Exhale, float them down by your side. Offer yourself a moment in Tadasana to find your connection. And from here, we'll ground down through our left leg, flexing our right knee, raising it to hip height. Maybe keeping your palms on your hips. You might like to join your hands together at heart center. We're going to hinge our torso forward as we extend our right leg back with control. Lowering the back foot, coming into a high crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana. Staying high on the ball of that back foot. Heel is raised. Hips are squared. Arms are extended parallel with the shoulders. Feel yourself growing up and out of those fingertips. Rolling the shoulders back. Softening the gaze. Staying strong, staying intentional. Using the breath to guide yourself to the present moment. 1 more breath. Float the arms down, frame the front foot, step the right leg to meet the left, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Roll up 1 vertebra at a time. Inhale, extend the arms overhead. Exhale, join the palms together, lower them to heart center. Offering yourself a moment in Tadasana. And we'll get set up to go on the other side, grounding down through the right leg. On your next inhale, we'll flex the left leg, drawing the left knee up towards hip height, maybe placing your hands on your hips, or joining the palms together at heart center. We'll hinge the torso forward from the hips as we guide that left leg back slowly with control, mindfully placing the left foot down as we come into high crescent lunge. Staying high on the ball of that back foot, squaring off the hips. Arms are extended, core is engaged. How low can you sink that front leg while mindfully engaging the inner thighs together, strengthening and supporting the whole body. Breathing through any tension. One more breath. Lowering the arms down with control to frame the front foot. Step the left foot up to meet the right, coming into a forward fold. You might be feeling a little bit more opened. You might like to keep the legs extended in this forward fold. Placing your forearms and your palms around the backs of the legs. Or maybe interlacing your fingers behind your back, extending the arms towards the floor. Allowing the knees to bend and lowering the chest onto the tops of the thighs. Feeling a release along the shoulders. One more breath. Release the palms down by your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Once more, halfway lift, finding length. Exhale, fold. Grounding down through both palms, we'll step back into plank pose, Badakanasana, and push our hips up and back as we come into downward facing dog, Mukeshvanasana. Keeping that core engaged. Melting your heart to the surface beneath you. Softening the muscles of the face. From here we'll step our right foot to the outer edge of the mat, lowering our left knee down, tenting up onto the fingertips, coming into a lizard posture variation. One breath here. And planting the palms down, lifting the back knee as we step back, push back into downward facing dog. Taking it on the other side, stepping the left foot to the outer edge of the mat, lowering the right knee down, tenting up onto the fingertips, feeling a deep stretch along the right hip flexor. One breath here. Planting the palms down, lifting the knees, stepping back into downward facing dog. And again, flowing with the breath, going on the right side. Maybe shifting the hips forward and back if that helps you. And if you'd like to keep it a bit challenging, you're more than welcome to keep the back leg raised the whole time. Stepping back into downward facing dog. Inhale, go on the other side. Left foot to the outer edge of the mat, lowering the right leg down, or keeping it raised, tenting up onto the fingertips, finding that stretch. One breath here. Planting the palms down, stepping back into downward facing dog. And gently guiding the knees down to the mat. Coming onto our sits bones, extending our legs out in front in Dandasana, staff pose. Legs are extended, feet are flexed, toes and kneecaps are pointed towards the ceiling. You might like to place your palms on either side of the torso for support. Slight tuck of the chin, roll the shoulders back and down, core is engaged. From here we are going to come into Badakanasana, bound angle, joining the soles of the feet together, flexing the knees, allowing the legs to splay wide, grounding down through both sits bones, perhaps interlacing your fingers around your hands, feeling yourself grow taller through the crown of the head. This is a wonderful grounding posture. We tend to store a lot of emotions and stress in the hip region. So if there are any thoughts energies, sensations that are arising. Simply allow them to be, accept them non-judgmentally, and tune into the breath. You might like to stay in an upright position or hinging from the hips, lower down with control, coming into a forward fold, perhaps using your palms to create fists, propping your forehead up on a pillow, or extending your arms out long, resting your forehead on the mat. Letting go. Recognizing that you are safe. Acknowledging your efforts to show up and find a synchronicity, a fluidity for the breath, mind, and body. All is well. Taking about 5 to 7 gradual breaths in this posture. If you are in a fold, you might like to use your hands for support, working your way into a seated position. Taking any adjustments you need as we extend our legs out in front, scooting our hips forward slightly, placing your palms underneath the thighs as we roll down one vertebra at a time, lowering down onto our backs. Heel toeing the feet towards the edge of the mat, allowing the knees to rest against one another, melting the lower back into the floor. You might like to rest with your arms extended by the torso, or place one palm on the belly, the other palm on the chest, really augmenting your awareness of the breath, your connection to this moment. And again, observing if there are any regions in the body where there appears to be mental or physical strain. Seeing if you can compassionately guide the breath there. Release into that region. Offer it a loving acceptance. And remind yourself that all is well. From here, we'll come into a reclined pigeon pose, Supta Kapotasana, placing the lateral edge of the right foot on top of the left thigh, flexing the knee, maybe interlacing your fingers behind the left thigh, the left shin, keeping both feet flexed. The right leg is pushing away from the body, keeping the hips grounded and feeling a stretch along the outer right glute. Seeing if you can relax the arms slightly. Keeping the legs as they are will release the bind. Cactus the arms out wide. Keeping the arms in line with shoulder height, elbows are flexed, palms are facing towards the sky. And we'll allow our legs to drop over to the right, maybe gazing towards the left shoulder. Feeling a lovely release along the lower back, perhaps a stretch into that right glute, the outer hip, and being mindful to keep that right shoulder in contact with the surface beneath you. 5 breaths here. Gently guiding yourself to the midline, uncrossing that right leg, and we'll go on the other side, flexing the left knee, placing the outer edge of that left foot on the right thigh, setting up for supine pigeon pose. Finding an adjustment with the hands that is conducive with your energy levels today. Being mindful to keep both feet flexed. Softening the muscles of the face. Breathing through any tension. One more breath, and releasing the bind. Cactusing the arms out wide, elbows at shoulder height, and mindfully guiding the legs to the right side of whatever space you're in, whilst gazing over that left shoulder. Letting go. One more breath. Beginning to uncross the left leg, placing the sole of the left foot on the mat. Perhaps fanning the legs out once or twice, inviting some mobility into that region. From here we will set up for Shavasana, so afford yourself a moment to grab any props, a blanket, a strap for the eyes, some blocks for under the knees, whatever enables you to relax. And when you're ready, extending the legs long, perhaps extending the arms down by your side, palms facing up, and affording yourself enough space between the arms and the ribs to allow for expansion and contraction of the belly with each breath. Recognizing an awareness for the body in this environment. Mindfully attuning to the muscles and the physical structures, perhaps observing if there is tension residing anywhere. Seeing if you can send your breath there. Send nourishing pranic life force to the regions of your body that could use a little bit more love. If you notice the mind beginning to wander, recognize that this is okay. Simply allow the thoughts to pass, like clouds in a sky. With every exhalation, observe yourself becoming more relaxed, more at ease. returning to your natural, peaceful state. Recognizing that your capacity to arrive in this embodiment of well-being is only ever the next breath away. You might choose to focus your awareness on the third eye center, the Ajna chakra, the space between the eyebrows, channeling your energy to this point while softening and completely surrendering to the moment. If this visualization proves to be rather elusive, you might like to imagine a color. Feel yourself surrounded by a warm glow of light. You are surrounded by love. And recognizing that you are this love. You are this light. You have the capacity to connect with this love and light whenever you so desire. It is simply a matter of attuning yourself to this moment, to the present, the interface of where life is unfolding and blossoming. For the next few minutes, you might simply choose to tune into the manifestation of the breath, the inflow and outflow of air, the rise and fall of the belly. You might like to continue visualizing a color and keeping your focus centered around the Ajna chakra. You might like to adopt a mantra or an affirmation of your own, or simply rest in stillness. Unifying with this nourishment of the mind, body, and soul. Letting go. Slowly beginning to arrive in the body, becoming aware of the environment, In your own time, beginning to invite some small movements, perhaps wiggling the toes once or twice, stretching the legs out long, the arms overhead. And when you're ready, keeping the eyes closed, rolling to one side, coming up into a seated position, rolling the shoulders back, placing the palms on the lap. On your next inhale, we'll begin to slowly extend our arms overhead, lengthening the torso. Exhale, lower the hands to heart center. Together, we will take 3 cleansing breaths to close practice. Inhaling through the nostrils, exhaling through the mouth. Thank you all so much for today. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.